The 21st century is a time for holiness and heroism in the priesthood. And my brother priest in the Diocese of Allentown, it's going to be such a privilege to discover your holiness and heroism, which I've already experienced, but it's going to be a wonderful adventure to see how it works in your different personalities and your different backgrounds. The consecration and mission of the priest is absolutely crucial and fundamental to a vibrant Eucharistic church and a vibrant laity. It is a new time for each one of us as we rekindle our Eucharistic amazement by remembering that every Mass is celebrated on the altar of the world, to take personal responsibility to promote Catholic marriage, family life, and the gospel of life, and vocations to the priesthood and religious life. To that end, I will ask all young, and many not so young, Catholics to listen to the Holy Spirit and discern whether they have a vocation to the priesthood or religious life. Some will find, perhaps to their own amazement, that they are called to and are capable of holiness and heroism as priests or religious. Many of you know by now that I have deep roots in the Diocese of Allentown, especially in Bethlehem, and I have grown up with wonderful family stories that revolve around Bethlehem. Today I think of my great-grandfathers. One great-grandfather, Jacob Barris, came from Mengerscheid in what was then the Prussian Rhineland in 1852 and was a pattern maker at the Bethlehem Iron Works. The other great-grandfather, Thomas Ritter, was elected police sergeant for the old borough of Bethlehem in 1888, and then beginning in March 1900, he served for 38 years as a night watchman for the Bethlehem Businessmen's Protective Union. He is quoted as saying in the newspaper article in my family file, "I have never taken any vacation and am just as happy as ever. I have been walking as a night watchman on an average of 14 miles every night for 38 years. My hope is that I may be as vigilant a shepherd and night watchman for the Church of Allentown as Tom Ritter was for the businesses in Bethlehem." Another Bethlehem Easton connection I have is with legendary Princeton basketball coach who is present here with us today, Pete Carrill, with one of his greatest players, the president of Moravian College, Chris Tomford. Chris, you'll probably recognize, Chris and Coach are right next to each other. Chris is the 6'8" guy, Coach is the 5'7" guy. Coach grew up in a Spanish neighborhood in Bethlehem near the steel mills, was All-State at Liberty High School, starred at Lafayette in the early 50s, coached at Reading High School, and then coached at Lehigh before moving on to Princeton. I played 3 years of JV basketball for Coach Carrill and his wonderful assistants. I did Coach Duquette's funeral just a few weeks ago in Livingston, New Jersey, and learned much about sacrifice and team play from Coach and the Princeton basketball experience. Chris Tomford tells a classic Coach Carrill story, which I think all of us will enjoy. Chris was Princeton basketball's equivalent of Eric Liddell in the movie Chariots of Fire, a wholesome young man, an outstanding athlete in the post-Bill Bradley era at Princeton, who was on his way to becoming a Protestant minister. In one game, Chris had a terrible first half. He dreaded going to the halftime room because he knew he was going to get it from Coach. He just didn't know how. Coach Carrill had a great sense of his players and how to motivate them. So what does he say to this aspiring minister? "Chris, how can you believe in God and play like that?" Coach, Chris and I want you to know that though it's been a while since either of us have run the Princeton backdoor cut, we have already begun to think about how we could use your principles of team play to build up ecumenical and interreligious bonds in the community. If Eddie Jordan can use them in the NBA with the 76ers, we can use them here in Allentown. Finally, I speak to the young church of Allentown in our Catholic schools, in public schools, in our religious education programs, in our youth ministry, and on college campuses in the 5 counties of the diocese. Know the hope and dreams I have for each one of you. Know that I realize that you want to understand and know the truth and person of Jesus Christ, the truth and person who will set you free. Your deep and developing Catholic faith, your heroism in embracing the truth of the Gospels and church teaching and resisting negative peer pressure helps to rekindle the faith of the generations that go before you. Thank you for that faith. Thank you for that heroism. Keep following the light of Christ. I'd like to offer some words to our Hispanic brothers and sisters in the Diocese of Allentown. Mis queridos hermanos y hermanas de la comunidad hispana, el 27 de mayo tuve la oportunidad de saludarles durante la conferencia de prensa y les saludo de nuevo y ahora con un corazón que ansía servirles. Me alegro poder decirles que ya puedo celebrar la misa en español para ustedes, pero que todavía necesito mejorar mucho mi conocimiento del idioma. Yo contaré con su tolerancia y sus alientos, y ustedes con mis oraciones, mi afecto y un deseo profundo de servirles. Cada verano por 3 años he pasado 2 semanas de retiro en Guadalajara con algunos sacerdotes mexicanos muy pacientes. Allí tuve la oportunidad de rezar y de llegar a comprender el poderoso testimonio de los mártires mexicanos que muchas veces murieron declarando estas potentes palabras de testimonio del Señor. ¡Viva Cristo Rey y la Virgen de Guadalupe! Para todos mis hermanos hispanos que ahora cargaron una cruz de tristeza y dolor, sepan que quiero caminar a su lado. Pienso también en los muchos que han viajado aquí de otros países y que han tenido que dejar atrás a sus seres queridos. Sepan que los familiares que están con ustedes aquí en Estados Unidos y los de allá a quienes tanto echan de menos, también son de mi familia, y que siempre los recordaré en rezar y en la misa. Descubrirán ustedes que soy agente activo de la visión que describió el Papa Juan Pablo II en su encíclica Ecclesia in America. La Iglesia, a través de todas las Américas y sus islas, estará unida en el Padre, el Hijo y el Espíritu Santo, por medio de un espíritu intrépido y valiente de evangelización. He visitado la Basílica de Nuestra Señora de Guadalupe y allí también recé. Será una gran alegría para mí poder rezar ante la estatua de la Virgencita que se encuentra en la Iglesia de la Inmaculada Concepción de Allentown, que es, según tengo entendido, una de las mejores copias del original en el mundo. Del mismo modo que San Juan Diego se sorprendió al abrir su tilma y encontrar la imagen de Nuestra Señora engalanada de hermosas rosas, que a nosotros también nos sorprenda gozosos la gracia constante de Dios mientras trabajamos juntos para evangelizar la diócesis de Allentown y por todas las Américas. Que Dios los bendiga.